Just let you know.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. It's 6:54 p.m. when I'm recording this episode. I'm up in the mountain house. I just came down from the tree stand. Skunked again. I think I've had my chance this year when I missed the deer after I dropped my bow, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm up here till, well, I have to go back to San Francisco for Butler's practice on tomorrow. And then I'm coming back because I'm painting for Gary Brower, world famous guitar tech Gary Brower. And because he lives up here. And then I'm going back home on Sunday. So I have until Sunday to try for that deer. So there's an update on my life, friends. Today I have a guest on the show, another guest. His name is Steve Roney. Steve Roney. He's a friend of mine. He's such a great friend, I can't pronounce his last name. That's how great of a friend
You got it the second time.
Right, Steve Roney. The reason Steve Roney is on here is because, well, first of all, I know him. He's in bands in the Bay Area. He plays in what are all the bands you're in, Steve Roney?
Well, most recently, and we've actually played together, Michael.
Yes.
Our cover bands.
Yes.
So we do a Y&T tribute band called Main Streak, and then we also do a Cheap Trick tribute band called Cheaper Trick.
Yes.
And what it is, it's the same members in both bands. It's just do both tributes. So we have a lot of fun.
I played with the Cheap Trick band for one or two practices.
Yes, at my house.
And that was fun. I guess I wasn't good enough. You guys didn't let me stay in the band or something like that.
Did no one call you back? You didn't get a call back?
I never got the rejection call. I guess I figured you guys just ignored me and I was out.
No, I never got mine back either, so don't feel bad.
But you guys got a really cool fat guy to take my place. So he was way cooler looking than me anyway. So I'm busting balls. The reason Steve is on the show is because he has this book out. It's a coffee table book. It's kind of coffee table quality. It's a photo book. It's called Pictures Alive, Rock Shows of the 80s and Beyond. Now, what Steve did, what's different about this book, he snuck a professional camera in to concerts like a true guerrilla punk rock fan. Explain, Steve, how you did this.
Well, most of this is back in my high school years.
Uh-huh.
And as we all know, back in those days, there was no cameras allowed at any concerts. It was written on the ticket, right? And I was getting into photography, and I would always admire the photos in the magazines, Hit Parade or Circus, all those cream magazines. And I thought, I'm going to try to do this at a concert. So my dad bought me a camera.
What kind of camera?
Lens,
what kind of camera?
Pentax K1000.
35 millimeter?
35 mil. Again, this is all film. This is no digital. All these are film. No autofocus, no auto,
So it was a big
lighting,
camera.
anything. A what?
It was a big camera.
It was a full-size 35 millimeter camera.
Let me guess.
So what I did was, I would say, and how I got it in was, I would take the lens off the camera.
Uh-huh.
Then I had my...
Where'd you put the lens? Down your pants so it looked like your penis?
No, I was going to tell you. So I used to wear a black members-only jacket, right? And I would take the camera body and I would stick it on the inside sleeve under my arm. And the lens on the other one.
That's exactly how I continue to sneak beer into bars and shows.
There you go. And what I would do is I'd push my sleeves up so it looked like I was bulky there.
That's a good tip.
And then when I would get patted down, what I would do is I'd open my jacket up and they would only go up to my armpits, not knowing the camera was a couple inches away. And once I got in, I was kind of home free. Okay. And then we go up to the front, it was all general admission back then. So my friends and I, Dale or Frank or Brian, we would go down as close as we can to the front, but not the very front, maybe 10 feet, 15 feet back. And one of my buddies would hoist me on their shoulders for a few minutes at a time, and I would just snap photos whenever there was enough, because I had no flash. Everything was natural lighting. So I had to make sure there was bright lights on the stage to try to get some decent photos. And that's what I did, you know?
What was the very first concert that you snuck a camera into?
You're going to like this. Michael Schenker, 1980, opening for Cheap Trick. Oh. Not in the book, though. It's not in the book.
19, why did the pictures not come out?
Right. So I had, my first few shows, I got, crummy photos. I was kind of learning the craft at the time. And it really wasn't until my fourth or fifth time that I started to get okay shots. So
1980, that would have been All Shook Up?
I believe 1980. I think you're right. I think it was All Shook Up. Yeah. And Michael was playing his first solo album. He was touring off his first solo
Armed and
album.
Ready.
Right.
Yeah, that was probably a lot of people were there to see Michael Schenker because Cheap Trick was kind of on their way down at that point.
Kind of, yeah. Right.
But Cheap Trick were still great. That was a great album, and they were still great. Do you remember anything about that show? Why the pictures didn't come
out? Well, again, it would be my first time. I didn't understand the whole lighting situation, because most of I can put out 4 books of photos with dark pictures and images and out of focus. I got plenty of those.
Yeah.
But so I had to learn, okay, I need bright lights to get a decent shot. So, and it took me a while to get that. And, especially for the opening band, they don't have full lights, so it was kind of minimal for that particular show.
Did you make it through okay?
Yeah. And what was kind of a bummer was, I was like a freshman in high school then, I think. And my sister's boyfriend, who was, older, took me to the show, and they didn't want him and his buddy. They didn't want to stay for Cheap Trick.
Really?
We were there to see Schenker, but we're there. Why not stay for Cheap Trick? Uh-huh. Yeah, we might not stay for Cheap Trick. So I didn't get to see them.
How old were you?
15, maybe 14, 15.
Okay.
Yeah. 1980.
First concert. I probably went to my first concert at age 15 too. The first concert without my parents. First concert I ever went to was David Bowie at the Jacksonville Coliseum on the Station to Station tour. That was 1976. So I'm probably about 4 or 5 years older than you.
Okay.
What are you? 70?
72. Yeah.
72.
No,
okay.
58.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm 60, so I'm only a couple years.
Are you? Okay.
So I'm just going to open up a book, part of this book. It's a really good book. Really good book. The pictures, I was in your house and I saw pictures hanging on your wall.
That's right. You were. You're right.
Those are pictures that you snuck cameras in, right?
Right.
All right. I'm just going to open, I'm going to flip. You're looking at me. I've got the Zoom call going. I'm doing video now on these interviews, which I may stop because the last time I did the cream, I'll go into that on the next Rock and Roll Geek show, but Steve's a friend, so I'm not worried about how I look, and he's not worried about how he looks. So two ugly dudes.
There you go.
All right, I'm just going to flip through the book here, and you just tell me to stop.
Stop.
Okay. All right, we are at, let's see. Wait a minute. Aerosmith in Black and Blue, August 31st, 1984, Oakland, California. 1984. That would have been Permanent Vacation?
No. This is when they got back together for the first time and just they didn't have an album they were touring under. So they did great.
They did not have it. Because that was the Back in the Saddle tour.
Back in the Saddle tour, right?
I saw that tour in Jacksonville, Florida. Ted Nugent opened.
Oh wow!
So tell me about this. So for people who don't know, you should go get this book because it's a really cool book. At the beginning of every chapter of every concert, and it has a bunch of pictures from that concert. There's a little story about the show that he snuck the camera into. So tell me the story of this one, Aerosmith, 1984, and Black and Blue.
So basically, I'd seen Aerosmith about 5 years prior to that. We had these big Coliseum shows at Oakland called Day on the Green.
Yes.
And there was all the original guys. It was just kind of like their last year before, Perry split and Brad Whitford split.
Draw the Line tour.
Right. I think it was Draw the Line tour, right. And then, they played with Ted Nugent, AC/DC, Bon Scott.
I saw that the same thing in Florida. It was called the Florida World Music Festival. It was Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, Mahogany Rush, Cheap Trick,
right.
Brownsville. They were not Brownsville Station. They called themselves Brownsville this time. But yes,
they didn't get Cheap Trick, but it was I remember those 4 bands, and Mahogany Rush was there too. So now 5 years later, '84, they regrouped. They didn't, like I said, they didn't have a new album out, and they just played all their great stuff.
It was
they
fantastic.
Really
it was really
it was really good. I mean, just kind of in your face, and
they opened with Rats in the Cellar.
Exactly, it was really good, you know. And then they went on to make some new album stuff, but that was it. That was great, man. That was raw Aerosmith.
So tell me the story that's in this at the beginning, or did you just tell it to me?
I kind of did because I don't remember everything I wrote in there.
All right. Well, there's about 5 or 6 paragraphs. It's all these interesting little stories or interesting little anecdotes about the concert and stuff. How was Black and Blue?
Didn't see them. Didn't even see them. Yeah.
I remember that show. I was in the very front row, and Steven Tyler was blowing a harmonica, and he looked at me and threw me the harmonica, bounced off my hand, and into the crowd behind me, and I was so fucking pissed off about it.
Oh no, that would have been great. That would have been great. Let me ask you if this happened to you. At the end of the set, I think they came out for their encore. Steven looked like he was kind of drunk. He ran to the drums. He wanted to play drums.
Oh shit! What happened?
And Joey Kramer pulled him away. Says, "No, you're not playing drums." And he went to the front of the stage instead. But he thought he was going to play drums, and that didn't happen.
That didn't happen at this one, but I do remember somebody in the band fucked up the middle part of Rats in the Cellar at the very beginning. Steven Tyler, when Joe Perry's pissed off, as he's giving Steven Tyler like the stink eye, like, you motherfucker. Steven Tyler walks up to Joe Perry, flips 2 birds about 2 inches in front of Joe Perry's face, like just flipping him off right in front of his face. And Joe Perry wanted to put that guitar down and punch Steven Tyler. It was it was great. It was so rock and roll as they come, man.
Yeah,
so
I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see that.
I remember like it was yesterday. And I remember Cliff Davies, Ted Nugent's drummer, was eyeing chicks in the front row. And he had Bob Daisley. Was it Bob Daisley? No, it was not Bob Daisley on bass. I don't remember who was playing bass for Ted, but Cliff Davies was the drummer, and he was trying to pick up chicks. Ted was great, though.
Yeah.
But Ted's career was kind of, already long gone.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ted Nugent, there is a chapter in here of Ted Nugent headlining at the San Jose Civic Auditorium. Remember that
with
one?
Michael Schenker?
No, Michael Schenker opened up. Yeah, that was Ted Nugent had the Penetrator? I think it was Penetrator tour.
No, it was Penetrator, right. Yeah.
Let me pull that one up. I can't find it here, but he was wearing there's really good pictures. The pictures in this thing are here it is. Pictures in this thing are quality. Ted Nugent is wearing silver spandex pants, and he's got this guy who I think went on to be in Bad Company.
It's right. Exactly. It is. That's the same guy. Brian Howe, I think his name is.
Brian Howe, that's it, yeah. Not a great album. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty shitty album, but that Ted Nugent album, Penetrator. How was Michael Schenker group?
Oh, it was great. He's always great, and he played the, I think it was a double bill. They would flip-flop different city, different, nights.
Oh, really?
And he played first. Yeah, he played first. And, Schenker was great, it was great. Always good.
At that venue, I don't know if you've been to any more concerts at that venue, the San Jose Civic Event Center or something. No, it's downtown in San Jose.
Right, Civic Center.
There's pictures of that show on the wall in the lobby of that place.
Oh, is it really? I was just there not too long ago, and I didn't see those.
Last time I was there, I saw those pictures.
Huh.
I don't know if it was that show, but it was Ted Nugent headlining the event center or the San Jose, whatever it's called. So I'm assuming it was that tour. You saw Dio on his very first solo show in Antioch, California. The
Concert Barn.
At a barn.
Yeah, it's called the Concert Barn.
Tell me about that.
Well, it was way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere. And my friends and I, we just graduated high school like the month before. And big Dio fans, of course, with Sabbath and Rainbow. and he just put the Holy Diver album out.
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to this show. And I don't know who found this venue or what, but we went to this place, again, in the middle of nowhere. It was packed. I don't know, maybe a few thousand people. And there literally was straw on the hay.
It was in a barn.
On the floor. It was a barn. And they made it a venue. And he literally blew the roof off the joint. It was that good. This is before he can do, major stage production props and stuff, but it was just really that good.
Were you a Dio fan before that, like all the way from Rainbow days?
Oh yeah, Rainbow for sure. That's where I started. That's where I first heard him.
Man on the Silver Mountain, and
yeah, that was it, man. Yeah.
The opening band was Rough Cut. Now, there's not pictures of the opening bands. Why not that? Because I know why. Because the lights weren't that good, right?
No, because if I wasn't a fan of theirs, I wasn't going to waste pictures.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? If I didn't know who they were, and they were kind of unknown, they were very unknown at the time, On
the Dio chapter, there's pictures of, there's like 5 pages of photos or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of photos. Vivian Campbell is wearing his guitar super high up. I mean, like a necklace. Who's that on bass? That's Jimmy Bain. Jimmy Bain. One of my I love that guy. He was a great bass player. So that was a great show, Dio. I did not see that. I never saw. Did I see? I don't know if I ever saw Dio solo. I saw him with. I think I saw him with Rainbow, and of course I toured with Dio and Black Sabbath when I was in Exodus. So saw him every night then. All right, let's see what else we got here. Kiss on the Creatures of the Night tour. Bunch of photos of that. Kiss and Motley Crue opening, April 3rd, 1983. Tell me about that.
That was a doozy.
Were you a Motley Crue fan?
I became a fan after that night.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. And that was Easter Sunday of all nights. And it was me and my buddy Dale, who often would hoist me on his shoulders, and a classmate of ours, Nadine, who was a Motley Crue fan. So she wanted to know if she'd catch a ride. We said, sure. So I had this painting I did, this little cheesy watercolor painting I did in high school art class of the Creatures of the Night album cover. And I brought it with me. And before the show, we went around the building, and sure enough, there was a door open that was kind of the back of the building. And there's Gene Simmons just standing 10 feet away.
Was he wearing makeup? No makeup.
No.
Okay. Because this is Creatures of the Night. They're still doing makeup. So
yeah. So we got up there, called his name, Gene. He came over and he signed my thing. Well, right next to us, behind us, is a tour bus. So we walk over there, and it's Motley Crue's tour bus. And it's parked there. And lo and behold, there's Nikki Sixx just sitting in the passenger seat, just kind of kicking back. So we went around to the window, and we look up, and he rolls the window down, and we're talking to him just like, just like anyone else. And Nadine, who was a Motley Crue fan, asked for his autograph. And he said, sure. How about I sign your tits? Don't be shy. I'm not.
Uh-huh.
And so me and Dale, we literally had to hoist her up because, the bus is kind of high where he's sitting. So we hoisted her up. She kind of pulled her top down and had a Sharpie and signed her boobies.
Oh, she just pulled it down. Did she expose her whole breast?
I don't know, because I'm down below where I couldn't really, I just saw her do this, right? She just pulled it down.
Now, did you guys get stuff signed too by Motley Crue?
Yeah, they signed. There's a picture there on that page. It's the back of that painting. We got Nikki, Vince, and Mick Mars. We didn't see Tommy. And they all signed something,
Oh, there's a Creatures painting. Somebody painted the Creatures.
Yeah.
Who did that painting?
I did that in high school.
Oh, wow. You did a good job. You're pretty...
Well, it's easy. I just traced it and filled in the color.
Really?
I'm not an artist by any means.
You were a male groupie. Yeah,
that's what you call them.
Like my friend, you're friends with Eric Mortensen as well. My good friend, my tax guy, the metal CPA. He's a male groupie.
Yes.
We're all male groupies. We all. Pardon me, I'm choking on this fine Tecate, but we're all male groupies.
Never looked at it that way, but okay.
There's the Kiss photos. These Kiss photos are quality photos. They're like pro. They're pro shot. You're probably pretty proud of those, huh?
Yeah, I got lucky. Certain shows I would get better shots than others, just for whatever reason. I got tons of blurry photos of a lot of bands, but that one I don't know. They had good lighting. Kiss always had good lighting. That helped. And yeah, we got some good shots from that show. I was happy with it.
That was in the San Francisco Bill Graham. Was it Bill Graham Civic Center?
Yeah.
That's
Civic
not
Center.
a very big venue, so Kiss was not drawing. So I heard that tour didn't do too well.
It didn't. Yeah, that tour, even though I think it was either full or close to being full, that tour in general did not do well at all, which is surprising. But that's a great album they put out. But they had two replacements. Erik Carr and Vinny on, Erik Carr and then Vinny on replacing Ace. So, but it was great. I mean, we thought it was great.
I'm getting lost in the photos here. The pictures of Vinny. Vinny looks kind of he looks okay in some of these pictures. How was this? So, are you a Super Kiss fan?
Oh yeah, that was my band back then. That was the first band that did it for me when I was a kid.
1982.
Yeah.
No,
that was it.
1983. That was the first Motley Crue. No, that was
Yeah.
Shout of the Devil out yet? No.
No, it was the next year.
So they were still doing the High Hills and all that stuff.
So they had the Too Fast for Love album out, right?
Yeah, they had played the Wolfgangs probably earlier that year, which before I got into San Francisco, before I got here. There's some great Van Halen photos here. I mean, some really great Van Halen photos. There's one of Eddie Van Halen jumping. I think that's on your wall when I remember that practicing.
Yeah.
Van Halen and a band called After the Fire. Van Halen was very famous for having unknown bands or bands that were kind of shitty opening for them.
Yeah, right.
1982, that is third album, Women and Children First, yes. No, Diver Down. Diver Down, that's right. He's wearing the Diver Down outfit. Tell me about that show.
Great show, man. They played 2 nights at the Cow House.
Didn't you get caught with this one?
Yeah, I got caught.
Tell me that story.
So what happened was Van Halen would always play 2 shows, and so would AC/DC when they came to town. So what I would do was I would try to get my camera into the first show, get photos, and then if I went to the next show, I would just kick back and watch the show and not take photos. So the first show, I'm there with my high school buddies, and for some reason, I decided I'm going to bring 2 rolls. I'm going to splurge. I'm going to bring 2 rolls of film to this concert, right? Which I always only brought 1. So I bring 2, and we're standing, in line in the parking lot trying to get in. I hand my extra roll to my buddy Al. He puts it in his shoe, and the other roll was in the camera. So we get up, we're getting ready to pat down, and they feel something in my sleeves of my jacket. And they go, "What is that?" And I pull it out, and it's the camera. And he goes, "You can't bring the camera in. You got to bring it back to your car." And I said, "I got dropped off. I got no car to bring." I was lying. I don't have a car to bring it. I go, "Why don't you just take my film?" And he goes, "You just have the 1 roll of film?" I go, "Yeah, that's all I got." So he took the film, let me bring my camera in, thinking I didn't have any more film. We get into the show. My buddy Al gives me the 2nd roll of film that I surprisingly bought. And that's the photos I got from that show with the 1 roll of film.
Huh. I'm looking at all right, I'm going to go to the end of the book here. What do we got here? There's pardon me, I'm burping. It was fine, Tecate. Another Motley Crue. This is Motley Crue and Heavy Patton, 1984. This is Motley Crue on the Shout of the Devil tour. It looks like, judging by their outfits.
Yeah, right.
Nikki Sixx is playing a Hamer Explorer bass. I guess before he moved to the Thunderbirds. And Mick Mars is playing some sort of, it looks like a Hamer Explorer guitar. So they must have been endorsed by Hamer at the beginning.
Maybe, yeah.
Tell me about that show. That's in San Jose, at the San Jose Civic Auditorium, same place where Ted Nugent
Same
played.
place. Yeah, like maybe a few weeks apart actually from that Nugent show. Man, they were really on fire then.
That was probably sold out, right?
It was sold out, and I think they only did a handful of headline shows because they were touring with Ozzy at the same time, looking for Ozzy.
Uh-huh.
And so you imagine they played everything from the first 2 albums. They're young, they're hungry, and they just were really, really good. I thought that was probably one of their best periods myself. A lot of energy.
You had no problem sneaking the camera into that one?
Well, I had a problem at every concert I went to. It was just a matter if I was going to get caught or not. You know what I mean? But
did you ever get caught and your camera got confiscated?
No, I don't think they can do that.
You get thrown out?
No. Again, I think I only got caught. I did this maybe 50, 60 times, and I think I got caught twice maybe. And they never took it. again, the one time was the Van Halen. They just took my film. And I think the one time I got caught Iron Maiden in 1983, I think I did bring it back to my car. I can't remember, but I don't believe they can take your camera. At least back then.
They can make you check it in at the front desk or something.
Yeah, they could do that. Right. They can do that. And I don't think it ever happened.
Speaking of Ozzy, 1984, you also have Ozzy and Slade opening. So I guess Motley Crue wasn't on the tour yet or something like
no, that. Or yeah, maybe they were headlining. I don't remember. But again, if I wasn't familiar with that opening band, I usually didn't watch them.
This is when Slade tried to break in America because they were huge in England and they never did break in America. And this was their one chance to break in America. It was around the hair metal days, and they figured they would try to capitalize on it. That was Ozzy with Jakey Lee, which is probably Bark at the Moon, I guess.
Yeah, Bark at the Moon, right.
Tell me about that show.
Again, this is Ozzy's probably first tour since Randy Rhoads had passed, okay? And new album, Bark at the Moon, Jakey's new guitar player, big stage production, which Ozzy was pretty famous for. And he just kept it going. He really did. It was a great show. And Jake was great. He really was. I mean, big shoes to fill, but he didn't try to, imitate Randy or be Randy. He did his own style, and I thought he was really good. It
says here in the book, Ozzy Osbourne saw Motley Crue perform at the 1983 US Festival and personally chose them as the opening act for his upcoming world tour. In fact, Motley Crue and Rat were the supporting acts for the entire U.S. tour, except for 3 days, March 27th, 28th, and it was just my luck that this concert I attended would feature neither of these supporting bands. Instead, I got those aging glam rockers Slade. Were you hoping that Motley Crue and Rat would be opening?
I don't think we knew back then that they were, no internet back then, so we didn't know that they were touring with them.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's get all the way to there's another good Aerosmith one here. Let's see. No, that's the same. That's Black Aerosmith. Okay. Sammy Hagar and Zebra.
Yeah.
Judging by Sammy Hagar's outfit, it's 1985. Is that Standing Hampton or no? What?
No, VOA.
VOA, yeah. He's wearing that ridiculous yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah.
But he's playing a cool Dean guitar, like a Dimebag guitar before Dimebag had him.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar and Zebra, 1985 at the Cow Palace. Sammy Hagar was a local hero, so he was headlining. When I saw Sammy Hagar, he was a perennial opening act on the East Coast, but I must have seen Sammy Hagar opening for everybody back in the 70s and early 80s. Tell me about this show.
Well, this would be his last tour before joining, 6 months later, he's joining Van Halen.
Oh, okay.
That's right. And he didn't know it then. But so this was his last kind of solo, tour. And Sammy always puts on a great show. He had a lot of energy, sounds great. He really does. And this was actually my first time to see him, I believe. Yeah, I think it was the first time I saw Sammy. And I was a fan since the Montrose days, okay? And his solo career when it first started. So, yeah, this was the first time seeing him. And so I really want to try to get some photos of him.
It looks like he's still got his original band in these pictures. He's got.
I think he does. Yeah,
Electric. What's the bass player's name? Bill Church. Bill Church.
Bill Church. Yeah.
And he's got the other guy on guitar. I don't remember his name.
Gary Pill or something.
Okay.
And I don't remember who's playing drums on that one. I don't think it was Jenny Carmass. I don't remember who was playing drums there.
Okay, let's see. Kiss and Queensryche, 1985. They had taken off the makeup. Eric Carr has about 12-story hair, and he's wearing a zebra outfit at the Henry Kaiser Convention Center in Oakland, California. Played that place with Exodus. I saw Cheap Trick there with Jet Boy. What tour is that? 85. That's not Lick It Up. It's
I think it was Animalized, maybe.
Yeah, because Paul Stanley's got that ridiculous leopard print guitar.
Leopard, yeah.
And Gene's got he's still wearing. Gene's got a wig on. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
There he does. Gene is wearing the Kiss boots. It looks like. I mean, his costume boots and the cod piece as well, but he just doesn't have makeup on. Yeah, Kiss was ridiculous back then. I was off the Kiss train at that point.
I kind of was too, but I thought I'd go see him. I think I saw him twice without makeup, and I just had a hard time getting into it because it was so different than before.
That was Bruce Kulick on guitar.
Yeah, right.
Good pictures, though. The pictures look great, man. You got all these framed?
Oh, yeah. You saw most of these.
Is this a self-published book? I'm assuming it's self-published, right?
Yeah, it's also. Yeah, my buddy Scott Davis and I put this together, and so we're doing it all ourselves.
You've been on other podcasts, I heard, right?
Yeah.
What other podcasts you been on?
So, Decibel Geeks.
Chris Sinzak.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris. We've done the Dave and Dave Unchained, the Van Halen podcast.
So people, all these guys, they either have a Kiss podcast, they have a How do you continue going on every episode about Van Halen or about Kiss?
Yeah.
What other podcasts?
Yes, they do it, and they're great. All of them are great guys. All of them are great guys.
Yeah, sure, they're all great guys.
And so, yeah,
I know
really
Chris.
cool.
I know Chris. I like Chris. But what other podcasts you been on? Let's see if I can badmouth any of them.
No, there's Julian from San Francisco. You know Julian? I can't remember the name of his podcast. That's terrible.
It's not Three Sides of the Coin. It's another Kiss pod. It's a Kiss podcast.
Though. Kiss FAQ.
Yeah.
Kiss FAQ. And he's a nice guy.
I'm going to say this. I got really in big trouble for saying this exact same thing. I'm going to say it again. How many Kiss podcasts why are you start a Kiss podcast, but there's 8 zillion Kiss podcasts? Hey, I got an idea. I'm going to start a Kiss podcast. Well, there's about 14 other ones. I don't care. Let's do it. Let's another one.
Yeah.
What other podcasts you been on? I know Julian put out a book too. He's put out a couple books. He put out
he's a good guy.
He put out a really good Aerosmith book.
He did.
Chronologize, I don't know that word. Chronologize, whatever. Every single concert they did.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a great book. I have that.
Yeah. A couple months ago, when this book first came out in July, that was the first podcast I did actually. So I never did something like that before. And he's a sweetheart, a really nice guy. Yeah. And he was talking about, he was asking me about that Aerosmith concert that's in the book, because he said he's a big fan, that he did a book about Aerosmith. I hadn't read it, but he was talking about it. And but he's a great guy.
I did a whole episode on his book.
Oh, nice.
I didn't have him on it. I just did the episode on his book. So how did this work? Did Erik reach out to all these podcasts and say, "Would you have my friend Steve on?" Or did he
No,
suggest?
just you. No, just you. I know. Even though we knew each other, I thought I'd have Erik say, "Hey, do me a favor. Reach out to Michael and see if we'll send him a book." And because I knew your podcast was not all on one band. It was just general music. I thought this could be good, right? Same. It's the same era. And so I thought that'd be good. So we sent you a book a couple months ago, and then now here we are. The other guys, my partner, Scott, my writing partner, he knew Julian, so we got on there. He knew Chris, we got on there. And the Dave and Dave Unchained, they actually reached out to us. They saw the book somewhere. Hey, we'd love to have you on our podcast. We have like 100,000 listeners. Like, whoa.
They have 100. Wait a second here.
That's yeah.
I'm going to call bullshit, but go ahead.
Well, that's, and I think it's true, because 100,000 people called us, said, hey, we want a book.
Did they really? Did you sell 100? How many books have you sold from these other podcasts? Did you have any way to find out?
No, because we know we're doing so much advertising through Facebook and on social media that it's kind of hard to tell what's selling books. Like this past week we sold 40 books, but we're not really sure where they came. It's word of mouth. What is it? So it's hard to tell doing a podcast. Like, when will this air, Michael? This podcast we're doing now?
Tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow. Okay. Most likely tomorrow. I usually post it like within an hour, but I'm kind of tired. I've been up in a tree stand.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take a shower, but I'll probably post it tomorrow at the latest.
So I should probably say this because we're talking about it. So all the books are on our website, picturesalive.net. Picturesalive.net. That's where the books are. You go there. It's in the back of the book, the very last page. And that's our website. You can go there and order a book that way and see more photos and lots of information there that you can get.
I will post links on the show notes. I'm not done with this yet. You got to get out of here.
No, I know. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Nobody has written to you and say, "Hey, I heard you on this guy's podcast. That's why I bought the book."
There's been a few of those, but they usually comment on the podcast itself rather than say, "Oh, I bought a book." You assume they maybe bought a book, but you don't always know. You just don't know for sure.
All right, friends. I can't be outdone by the Dave and Dave Unchained podcast, friends. So please find Steve Roney, buy the book, go on Steve Roney's, look him up on Facebook, go to his website, send him an email, say, I heard you on the Rock and Roll Geek Show and I bought your book. Don't let these fucks outdo the Rock and Roll Geek Show, please. Let's sell some books for Steve.
Thank you.
Because, come on, the Dave and Dave. What other podcasts you been on?
But they're great guys.
I'm sure they're great guys.
No, but really, we sent them both books, and they had nothing but great things to say, but it was a great interview. Other than that, that's really it. I think this is like the 5th or 6th, podcast we're doing. So we're trying to do more. So that's why I reached out to you.
Now I'm trying to learn the podcasting game here. What made it a great interview with Dave and Dave?
Well, they
had some tips
book,
how to be a better podcaster.
Whereas you like to wing everything, which is great, right? These guys, I think, studied the book, read the book, had questions all about the book, and they were just excited about it, because they related to. There's a lot of Van Halen photos in there, and they're big Van Halen fans, so they had a lot to say about that. But again, and that's not their norm to do other bands, so to speak. It's always Van Halen, but since there's a lot of Van Halen in there, they wanted to have us on.
Yeah, I'm sure they're great guys.
No, they are. They're really nice guys.
Where are they based out of?
They're back east. One's in one state, one's in another state. I don't know. I don't remember which states they're in, but they're in different states back east.
Okay.
I think one's in New York, maybe, and one's in...
it's one of those kind of shows.
Yeah.
You got 8 hosts. Okay, I'm done bad-mouthing other podcasts. That was a little bad. That's the trash other podcast section. All right, Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister, 1985, San Francisco at the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
1985, which is... What tour would that have been? That was probably one of the... I
think it was Power Slave.
Power Slave. That's a good tour. But
yeah,
Iron Maiden is always good.
They really are. They're just, they never let you down.
That's when, in these pictures, Bruce is wearing the muscle shirt and the gym socks over the spandex. And that was before they got Yannick Gers in the band.
Right.
Twisted Sister opening.
I actually saw them. I thought they were really good. I was really impressed with Dee Snider as a frontman, just getting the crowd fired up.
Dee Snider is one of the greatest frontmen of all time.
He really was that good.
Not a huge Twisted Sister fan, but Dee Snider is a great frontman. Yeah. There's not many people that are better than Dee Snider. You know what? You said it perfect, because I'm not a fan of their music really, but he was really good. He was great. Right, tell me about that. Anything else about that show? I want to read the first paragraph. As much as I had refined my method for sneaking in my camera at the Cow Palace, because most of the shows in San Francisco, the bigger shows were at the Cow Palace, I had a strange feeling that I was destined to not get any good shots of Iron Maiden. The last show I attended was at the Peace of Mind tour in '83, and I got busted with my camera and couldn't take any pictures. However, on this night, I made it past security without incident, and I was feeling optimistic, almost a bit cocky. And instead of taking my camera out and assembling it in my usual spot within the confines of the crowd, I stepped near the soundboard. Ooh, big mistake. The sound man and probably the manager saw you, no doubt. I stopped near the soundboard to remove the camera from my jacket. The lights were down and Twisted Sister was playing. I slowly removed the zoom lens from my left... These are the kind of stories you get in this book, friends. It's a good book. I slowly removed the zoom lens from my left sleeve and had it in my hand when all of a sudden a light flashed into my eyes. I knew immediately it was security, as they were the only ones who had flashlights. My mind raced and I said to myself, oh, fuck. I noticed a security guard about 10 feet away with his light on me. The loud music prevented me from hearing exactly what he was saying. That was actually good because, I can't hear you, dude. Sorry. The loud music prevented me from hearing exactly what he was saying, but it was obvious he wanted to know what that was in my hand. She said, "Oh, it's a flask, dude. I snuck a flask in." To this day, I'm still amazed how my brain worked in that moment. Without thinking, I held up the zoom lens to my left eye, closed my right eye, and pretended I was looking through a telescope. Genius move, dude. After my telescopic demonstration, I looked back at the security guard, who's clearly a moron. And he didn't say that, I did that. I said that. As he actually seemed convinced that the zoom lens was a telescope and that I needed it to watch the show. He looked perplexed for a moment and then just walked away. Either way, I was happy to get some photos of Iron Maiden since I had struck out the time before. That's a great story.
True story. It's exactly word for word, too, you know?
I need to open up another Toccata here. Flip
Okay.
Another section in the book here. All right, everyone's flipped. Motley Crue, 1985, an autograph at the Cow Palace. This is Motley Crue's big at this point. Looks like, judging by the outfits, it's Theater of Pain.
Theater of Pain, exactly. Yeah, now they're big headliners now.
Yeah. Of course, Home Sweet Home, they're on top of the world. Now, and Nicky's playing Thunderbirds at this point. They're custom-made Thunderbirds, probably not by Gibson anymore. An autograph opening. I saw autograph open for Van Halen. They were one of those shitty bands that they brought on tour with them. Are you an autograph fan?
Not really, but they had that one good song, and
Turn
that was about
up
it.
the radio. Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah.
Tell me about that show.
Again, now they're in the big leagues, right? They're headlining the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
And now you're playing in front of 14,000 people compared to maybe 6,000 the year before at the San Jose Civic, you know? Big production, flashy, you know, they were kind of doing the whole glam look with the big shiny costumes and, you know, of course the makeup and everything. But again, that's another band that always put on a great show with Motley Crue. You know, they always change things up from tour to tour. And this was their first big time doing it.
Although their touring stage was relatively simple, it did feature the first Tommy Lee's mechanical drum effects. This is the one where the drums, I think, went over the crowd.
No. This is the one where it just if you're in the crowd, his drums would go up like this, the whole platform.
They tilt forward like a roller, like they tilt forward. Okay.
Yeah. So he's like looking, you know, so he's looking down
right.
almost, right? And then it'd go back down. That was the first time he did that. So he was all strapped in, so everything didn't fall forward, you know?
I saw Motley Crue at the Bill Graham Civic. It was Motley Crue and Poison. This is later on when Motley Crue made their comebacks or whatever. And this is when Tommy Lee had the roller coaster thing.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
You remember the old Mac computers when they would crash? It would say, that was called a kernel panic, and it would say the Mac has crashed. Please restart your computer. Well, they had a video screen going while Tommy Lee was flying around on the roller coaster, and the video screen on the screen it said kernel panic. Please restart your computer on the video screen.
Did it really? Okay,
it was
That's
great. Okay, after the concert. My bandmate Sean and I, what band were you in at that point?
So then I was in my original band called Asylum.
Oh, Asylum.
Yeah.
Did you guys put any records out?
Yeah, we have CDs. We have stuff out.
Oh, you should send me some. I'll play it on the show.
I will.
After the concert, my band Sean and I found out where the crew were staying, and we headed over to their hotel downtown San Francisco. What was the hotel?
I don't remember.
We were outside waiting in the rain when the crew's tour bus pulled up. Vince came out first, and I asked him if we could get a quick picture with him. He agreed, but said, "Let's hurry because it's raining." To which we did, but the picture came out lousy. We could see Nicky inside the bus, but he seemed to be trying to time his exit to get past the fans without incident. Yeah, without having to talk to his fans.
That's exactly what he did.
Dick!
That's exactly what he did.
I'm going to go down. I'm going to say this again. Nikki Sixx is a fucking fraud. All right. He eventually ran out of the bus with some girl, passing us by and leaving us with nothing. Way to treat your fans, Nikki Sixx. Good pictures. Oh, there's great pictures, actually. Nikki's wearing he's wearing a kind of a takeoff on he actually looks like he did costume changes because at one point he's wearing a striped Steven Tyler outfit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did, yeah.
He's wearing a striped Steven Tyler outfit. Then he's wearing a polka dotted Pete Way outfit.
Yeah.
From UFO. It's got a cool polka dotted base. It's a Hamer base. Vince Neil is wearing ridiculous shades and white gloves. Looking at the pictures, they're really good pictures. Kudos to these pictures. They look, they've got the Theater Pain logo. I saw them on that tour. I don't think Autograph was opening. I think it was Quiet Riot opening for him, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I could be wrong. Lots of pictures of that, so they must have had good lighting.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
Let's see, what else do we have here? And then another one of Dio and Rough Cut at the Cow Palace. Was that the same year that you saw him in Antioch?
No, this is 2 years later. So I saw, Dio was one of my favorites. So I saw him quite a bit. There's probably 5 or 6 Dio shows in there, different tours. So this was the Sacred Heart tour, the last one with Vivian Campbell on guitar.
They must have had the same management as Rough Cut because they took him out.
Well, that's his wife. Yeah, that was
Wendy managed them. Okay.
Yeah, I think she was managing both.
At this point, I guess Vinny's still wearing the guitar super high up. Hart with Phantom Rocker and Slick. That's the offshoot of the Stray Cats.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Slim Jim Phantom, great drummer, and Earl Slick on guitar. Do you remember them opening for Hart?
I don't remember if I saw them or not. That's Grace Slick's brother, right? I think it's Grace Slick's brother.
I don't think so. Earl Slick played with David Bowie and lots. Earl Slick's a legendary guitar player.
They're not related? Oh, I thought they were related.
They could be. I could be wrong.
She was there. She showed up at that show.
Oh, well, maybe she is. Maybe they are related. You have more knowledge than me. This is Hart's pop time when they
was their kind of comeback. I think their comeback album tour.
When they poofed all their hair up and made them wear made them into pop stars. And they were all had their hair teased up. David Lee Roth solo and Cinderella opening 1985 at the Cow Palace. With 2 sold-out nights at the Cow Palace, it was evident that everyone still enjoyed seeing former Van Halen frontman David Lee Roth. Here he was with his new all-star band featuring Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, and drummer Greg Bisson. Was this the first? Was this Eat 'Em and Smile?
Yeah, first tour. Yeah,
1986. Oh yeah, that's 1986, right? Yep. And he's wearing an Eat 'Em and Smile shirt. He's got blackface on the shirt. It's David Lee Roth in blackface. How dare him?
Yeah.
Here he was with his new all-star band, now competing against his former bandmates. His tour was that album was really big for David Lee Roth. It's a good album too. It had a good sense of humor. Tell me about this show, because I did not see that show.
Okay, so again, this is kind of his big, I don't say comeback, but he was out to prove a point. He was out to prove a point. Yes, and it was everything Van Halen but bigger.
Sold out.
Dave sold out 2 shows.
2 shows.
Nights, 2 shows, and I went both nights. Took photos at the first show, and if anyone's seen Van Halen the year before, this was even bigger. I mean, he just always had a big stage production, huge lights. Everything was just top notch, and the band was great. My goodness, he couldn't have put together a better band. He really couldn't.
Steve Vai,
very entertaining. And there's a kind of a funny story that I'll tell. So that show I think was in December of '86. Well, a few months later, the job I had at the time, I used to park cars at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Uh-huh. And one night I'm working, and it's a big parking lot the size of a football field. One night I'm working, I'm standing down the lower end, and I see this car pulling out of a parking spot on its way out, and it pulls up to me, and it's fucking Steve Vai driving. And he had his wife with him, I guess, and like his in-laws. And he was in town, visiting. And he goes, "Hey, do I pay you?" I go, "No, hey, Steve." We start talking. I tell him I'm in a band. He starts giving me all this great advice.
Hold on, back up a second. You were the valet guy, and you didn't park his car? You didn't park his car?
No, he'd already been there all day. He'd been there all day. He's leaving. It's nighttime, okay?
Okay.
And he wanted to know how to get out of here. I said, we started talking music. And
you recognized him?
Oh, I recognized right off the bat. And this was months after the concert. And he sat there in the car while the car was in park running. And his wife was there and his in-laws. They just were all quiet listening to our conversation. We must have talked for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. Gave me some great advice. My band had just put out a demo tape. He told me some cool things to do with it. And then finally, when we're done, he said, "Do I pay you for the parking?" I said, "No, you gotta pay it then." But I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "I'll take care of your parking if you take my demo tape and give it a listen to."
Uh-huh.
He goes, "Great, no problem." I go, "Well, my tapes are in my truck, which is at the other end. I have to go up there with you and get it for you." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Hop on." I go, "What?"
Get in the car.
No, he says, "Hop on."
What do you mean? Hop on the front of the? You piled on the hood.
Hop on the hood. Hop on the hood.
You can't get in my car. You're not that cool, but you can get on the hood.
Well, no, but the car was full. There was no.
Okay.
So I hop on the hood. Right now, I'm blocking his view because I was right there, and I'm holding on to the antenna. He's driving up the lot. He's got his head out the window so he can see where he's going. Here's Steve Vai, and I'm blocking his way, and I'm holding on for dear life.
What kind of car did he have?
It was a rent-a-car.
Okay.
Yeah. So we get up to the very end of the lot. I give him tape. Said, "Hey, great. Thanks. It was nice to meet you." And what's funny, read the very end of that story, Michael.
What
read
band?
The very end.
What band was it? The tape, was that Asylum?
Asylum, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I hopped on, grabbed the antenna, and held on for dear life as he drove across the parking lot, which was about the length of a football field. Because I was blocking his view, Steve had his head way out of the window so he could see where he was going. We get to the end of the lot. I grabbed the demo tape from my truck and gave it to him. I told him it was great chatting with him and wished him the best. As he drove away, I saw my demo tape fly out of his window. No, he didn't really do that, but it would have been funny if he did. Well,
yeah, we had to put that. We had to put that in there.
Yeah, that's great. I would not put it past it because I was backstage at an Aerosmith concert once, and Joe Perry walked past us. I don't know how we got backstage. Billy from the Butlers was friends with whoever, from somebody who was working at anyway. It was at Shoreline, and Joe Perry walked by us and got into his limo, and Billy and I were the only guys there, and we look like total fanboys. Joe Perry gets out of the limo, and walks up to us, and goes, "What do you want me to sign?" We go, we don't really want anything signed, but we have our CD here. Can we give that to you? And he took it, and and I said, "You know where that CD's going? Right out that fucking window as soon as he drives off."
It's gonna be a Frisbee.
Yeah. How was Cinderella opening for David Lee Roth? You remember
they were
that?
good. Yeah, because that was their first tour, right? Their first album had just come out, and they were really good.
Kiss and Stabbing Westward, 1996. Was this reunion tour?
That was a reunion tour, right? That was a big deal.
That was Arco Arena in Sacramento.
Right.
Good picture of Ace with the smoke coming out of his guitar. Oh shit! Oh shit! What just happened here? Sorry, I hit the keyboard. Ace with smoke coming out of the guitar. Great picture. You got that one framed at your house?
I do.
That's a great shot. They're wearing the Destroyer or Love Gun outfits. It looks like.
Right.
Really good
shots.
So
I've never got any Kiss with the original member before this show, so I really, really was trying to make sure I got something from them because this might be the only time,
Then
my only opportunity.
The following chapter, you have Kiss and Ted Nugent and Skid Row at the arena in Oakland. Where's the arena in Oakland?
That's the one next to the Coliseum where the Warriors used to play. The Coliseum.
Oh, okay, Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah.
Ted Nugent opening for Kiss. You got a good picture of Gene Simmons blowing fire. I heard Ted Nugent got thrown off that tour.
I think you might be right. Well, I don't know because they came back around months later and he was still there. So I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard something about Ted Nugent said something that pissed off the guys in Kiss, and they threw him.
I heard that too. I think I heard that too.
Great picture of Paul Stanley playing his guitar behind his back, and he's looking pretty heavy, if you get my drift. Like he's had a few biscuits. All right. Great shots on this tour, man. Really great picture of Ace Frehley with the green lighting on him. And Paul with the Iceman, or the knockoff of the Iceman. Lots of pictures. Then you got
they played.
Yeah,
I saw them 3 tours. This was supposedly the farewell tour. So I saw 3 different shows. I took pictures of all of them, thinking that'd be it. It kind of was with the original members. Yeah,
so there's the rest of the whole book is like those 3 shows, and then there's Kiss and Ted Nugent at Shoreline. Which
was the last one.
I think after Shoreline is when Ted got thrown off that tour.
Oh, okay. That could be.
You got great shots, so you got good seats at the Shoreline, huh?
Yeah, we did. That was a good one.
And you have some of AC/DC's in here. So, let me see. We didn't talk about Judas Priest. Judas Priest in Great White, 1984, Sacramento, California. 1984. What tour is that? Let me see. I'm looking at.
That was Defenders of the Faith, I believe.
Of the Faith. Okay, that's. Somebody's calling me. Let me send a voicemail. Okay. You there, Steve?
I'm here.
Judas Priest and Great White. Tell me about that show.
So that was up in Sacramento, and I grew up in Millbrae on the peninsula, so that was a good hour and a half drive with my buddies and I. And I just remember it was a big outdoor show, and it was just hot as fuck. It's summertime, and Sacramento is always hotter than where I lived. And again, Judas Priest was a band that, always would put money into their production. Big stage, just like a well-oiled machine. And they never disappointed. That was a great show.
Rob Halford still has hair. He didn't shave his head yet. Of course, KK's still in the band at the time. Anyway, lots of good chapters in this book. I mean, there's great photos, and again, each one has stories. There's an AC/DC one. What AC/DC tour is this? AC/DC and Fastway.
I think that was Flick of the Switch tour, I believe. 83.
The one after. Yeah. The one after. For Those About to Rock. That's a great album. Fastway. Do you remember Fastway? You remember seeing it?
Yeah, I do. We saw then. That was Fast Eddie Clark from Motorhead, right?
Yeah.
And they just put that first album out, which was a great album, the Fast Way.
That was a great album. Say what you will.
Great singer.
Living.
That was a good example of a good opening band.
Yeah.
For sure.
And AC/DC did the same, pretty much the same stuff. But you got some good shots of AC/DC, great shots of Brian Johnson. Do we have any Malcolm shots in here? I don't see any Malcolm shots.
Yeah, I don't. He was always on the other side of the stage.
You were in the center, right?
Well, I was more on the right, kind of on, Angus' side.
Okay. Anyway, everybody, get this book. There's lots of great stories, great photos. I mean, if you're a rock and roll fan and like picture books, this is the book for you. How much is this book selling for?
$30.
$30.
Again,
it makes a swell Christmas gift, friends.
There you go. Again, it's on our website, picturesalive.net. And just go there and you'll see it there, and lots of information and more photos.
And tell Steve Roney, you heard him on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Tell him how much better the Rock and Roll Geek Show is than all those other shit podcasts. They're not shit podcasts. I wouldn't know. I don't listen to other music podcasts, so I wouldn't know if they're shit or not. But just tell him you heard him on the Rock and Roll Geek Show, so he knows that he made the right choice by sending me a $30 book for free.
That's right.
You got any gigs coming up with your bands?
You know what? We've had that gig with Linda. We were supposed to Eric's birthday at the Club Fox back in
Club Fox stopped doing shows for a while.
Oh, yeah, they did. I believe they're running again.
Are they now? Because I heard they weren't starting back to like March.
Oh, maybe you're okay. I don't know, because I know the next one's in March. We're doing Eric's birthday 3 years later.
Ah, okay.
Eric Bort's birthday. It's going to be the Scorpions tribute band, us doing the Y&T Mean Street, and someone else. I think Union Jack. I don't know. There's supposed to be three bands, but
Erik is a big fan of the Union Jacks band because they do Priest and Saxon and that kind
everything.
of
They do a little bit of everything.
new wave of British heavy metal. And I just got a notice on my trail cam on my phone. The fucking deer show up as soon as I leave the deer stand, the tree stand.
Oh, there you go. Go out there.
All right, Steve Roney, thank you for coming on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. I usually close out with a song. I'm gonna let you pick the song. Again, the book is called Pictures Alive: Rock Shows of the '80s and Beyond. Look Steve Roney up on. You're on Facebook, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, and there's a pictures rock book is on there too.
Oh, and
Pictures Live rock book.
On the back, in the back of the book, like instead of a prologue, there's before and after the concerts, and there's pictures of like some of the bands, like in their limo, pictures of them coming out of the hotel. You with, taking pictures, groupie shots.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good book, friends. I mean, if you're a rock fan, you're right in the trenches with Steve Roney. You know what
Let's see that cover.
We've all done this.
There it is.
This is not a video podcast, so it doesn't matter if I show the book.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I don't do video pod. Thanks for listening, but I don't do video podcasts.
Okay.
So let Steve know you heard him on the Rock and Roll Geek Show, and I will see you, maybe the Butlers and Cheaper Trick doing the shows.
There you go.
You guys still
Could
practicing?
We haven't done anything in 3 years, Michael. Haven't done anything.
Huh.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, I got the Butlers are playing this Friday, or not this Friday, a week from Friday in Walnut Creek, and then I got another gig the next night with a different band.
Okay.
So I'm as busy as ever.
Oh, good. Good.
You know, when you're the great bass player who gets thrown out of a Cheap Trick tribute band for not being fat enough.
I guess so. You know, let me look into that. I'll look into that for you. Get back to you.
No, I enjoy playing with you guys. I think I was just really busy. I think I had like 5 bands going, and
you were.
Yeah.
But it was great. You drove all the way down. You drove all the way from San Francisco to Pleasanton to my house. Came in, we plugged in, and we went. You know, we played whatever songs you knew, all Cheap Trick, right?
I think they sounded pretty good. Did they suck?
Who?
Did my parts suck? Did I?
No, it was great. It was great. But you were busy. You were like in 3 bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also a painting contractor, right?
Just like you.
How's work?
Work is all right. Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking to retire, but I'm up in the mountains right now painting for Gary Brower, a friend of mine. I'm too busy.
I know Gary.
I'm trying to retire soon if I can.
Good.
But
yeah, I know it gets to you after a while. You know, your body starts aching.
The only one problem is I don't have enough money to retire. But I might retire into poverty.
That's an issue. You know,
I might live in poverty anyway. But
yeah.
My hands are starting to hurt from holding the paintbrush, and my shoulders are hurting, and my eyes ain't like they used to be. My knees aren't hurting yet, but my eyes are not that good anymore, and I'm finding myself have to squint, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not as fun as it used to be, but
it's funner to be in a band, right?
Yeah, it is fun getting a good paycheck when you get a good job, but yeah.
It is. Can't argue with that.
All right, Steve. I wish you luck with the book.
Michael.
Thank you for doing this.
So
I
much.
really appreciate it. This will be probably tomorrow. I'm going to go and watch some television and get a shower and stuff. But I'll post this when I wake up in the morning, and I'll let you know when it's up.
Michael, thanks so much for having me on. I had a lot of fun.
You didn't pick a song. What's the song you want me to play?
Let's do Heaven and Hell.
Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I won't make you sit and listen to it, but per Steve Roney, here is Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Thank you, Steve, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, friend.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. I had a blast.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, brother.
All right, let me see if I have Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. If not, I'll have to look for it on the Apple Music, courtesy of my friend and bodyguard, Joe Pawlak. Black Sabbath. Let's see. Born Again Remastered. Born Again Disc 2. Dehumanizer. The Dio years. Of course, I have Heaven and Hell from 1980. Thank you for listening, friends. I'll talk to you soon. Please keep the donations coming, because without your donations, this show will die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. rockandrollgeek.com, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Go to Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group if you're not on there already. There's lots of great rock talk. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. I'll talk to you soon. The next one will be just a regular Rock and Roll Geek show. Thanks, Steve Roney, for coming on the Rock and Roll Geek show. Let him know you heard about him. Let him know you heard him on the show, and make him think he didn't waste an hour and 5 minutes on this podcast. All right, here's Heaven and Hell from Black Sabbath. I'll talk to you soon, friends. Stay frosty.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck